it is tough, right? Because we don't speak to each other like throughout the week anymore. I feel like.
Apart from about Football Manager, but yeah.
Yeah, but even then, it's like sometimes we'll call each other because you want to let me know about
Like
a player you're trying to shift.
Yeah.
Right? Or like we're just like messaging either through Football Manager or just text or whatever. So we don't speak anymore.
No.
So then it's hard to keep track of what I've told you and what I haven't told you.
Which is weird because it's all recorded.
It's all recorded now.
You could just, but we're not listening to the podcast.
Hey, no, we quality check our podcast, obviously.
Oh, not anymore. After like episode 9 or 10, I was happy to just let the bird fly out the nest.
No, until like
it took me a while
until YouTube puts their foot down for some reason.
Yeah, well, and this is the thing. We always worry of like, what if there's something bad in there? YouTube lets us know pretty quick. YouTube
But then we still don't know if there's anything bad in there.
About YouTube, because I think that's one of them. Or we'll get a note to be like,
shocking.
just to let you know.
What's shocking though?
Let's not say shocking.
Is that now a bad word?
I don't know. How are you, B?
I'm fine. It's a bit warm. It's a bit warm.
Too warm. We played a gig yesterday,
and
I really enjoyed it. But
it was like 30 degrees.
God, was it hot?
Yeah,
it was so hot, and then everyone was just in the little lines of shade that were like, no one was in the middle apart from kids that were like, I don't understand sunburn. So they're just there eating a sandwich, just getting absolutely fried.
It was good though.
It's a good gig.
It was a good gig.
Good fun.
Yeah, it was just warm.
Yeah.
And for anyone in America, 30 degrees isn't like your 30 degrees, it's our 30 degrees.
Here's the thing.
It's the real 30 degrees.
30 degrees when every building has air conditioning and your bedroom has air conditioning.
This is, that's
a different
also,
30
I was
degrees.
just getting on with the fact that obviously they use Fahrenheit, so 30 degrees over there is freezing cold.
Sure, yeah.
But what you said is so true. Like, and I feel like Americans that come over to like the UK or just most European places, right, during summer, they just they're not ready for it because, like you say, none of the buildings have aircon. They're built to keep heat in as well during the winter. That's the more important part.
Yeah. Our houses are heavily insulated. Apart from the people who want to insulate Britain, I don't know, man. But our houses are heavily insulated.
Yeah, I don't get it.
So yeah, when you're in a room, it just gets boiling hot. It gets overwhelmingly hot.
Oh yeah, for sure. It's like because you have I have a thermometer in this room, and it like even though it's like maybe 27 degrees outside,
yeah,
inside it will get to like 30, 31 because
Yeah.
it just traps the heat.
yeah. Anyway, that's the British thing to do, isn't it? It's
Just
got
moan
warm.
about the weather.
We've been
Yeah,
like, it's too cold, and then it gets hot, and we're like, this is mental.
It's
what
what
we
we
doing?
do. It's
Somewhere
what
in the
we
middle. But yeah, cool. I guess roll the clip. That's the weakest start we've ever had. Roll the intro. Oh, I thought I could do it in time.
You didn't do it in time.
Hey.
Ew.
It's a podcast.
It's a potty. It's a potty.
I said, how was your week then? And normally I'd say it here. And it was fine. We've covered that.
Yeah, we had a gig
Moving
yesterday.
on.
It was hot.
Do you know what the
Man's hot.
Do you know what the difference is with that gig? And
What?
we've covered it here before. But what makes a good gig and a bad gig isn't the people. It isn't. Some of it is the people. If you turn up and no one's there,
sometimes
it can be
the
brutal.
people, yeah.
But like, if we turned up to a gig and no one was there and it was for £5,000, good gig.
Good gig.
yeah. We probably play well. But it's the organisation as well. Like, all of the communication before was brilliant. Like, there was a tech rider. They had a tech list. So there was this huge understanding that we could turn up and we knew what had to happen.
Yeah,
And that was the difference.
I know it's so good when you go somewhere that's got good staff, like good tech people.
Yeah.
Good sound guy.
And that's the key thing. It's a big tip I would give people is to, and there's a really good example yesterday actually. Know your sound guy's name.
Oh yeah,
Right.
for sure.
And then have a good working relationship.
So I was
with
going
him.
to say, do you remember a while ago we did some pet peeves,
Yeah.
right? Straight away yesterday there were some pet peeves.
What was your pet peeve?
I'm not going to name names, right? But
Well, you
there-
wouldn't be able to anyway.
well, yeah,
Because you definitely can't remember that band's
But
name.
there was a band playing before us, and they sounded great.
Yeah, cool.
Not a
sounding
problem.
Band.
They did a couple of things that I'm going to put on the pet peeves, and this is like just a PSA for like new bands. Don't do this.
Yeah.
One of them, way too much talky.
Yeah.
Every single song there was about 2 minutes of him talking, right, about his inspiration to write the song. Mental. Don't do that.
Yeah.
Don't do that. At the most, introduce the song and then play the song. right?
Yep. Agreed.
If you're talking so much because you're trying to pad out a set, then you just need to be real careful about what bookings you're doing, what time slots, how long do I have to play for?
I think, and
can I fill a half an hour time slot?
I've got the devil's avocado here for that band. For that point, is they only played like 5 songs. Yeah. So they're a new band, and I reckon they've gone 30 minutes. This is what my old band used to do. It'd be like, can you play 30 minutes? And you're like, yeah, I guess. Whereas for us, it was 30-minute changeover and 30-minute play. So they wanted us to change the tech over for the time, the same amount of time we play. So backstage, we said straight away, well, you've provided amps and a kit. It's going to take us 5 to 10 minutes to change over. Do you want us to just play? There was a little bit of confusion there because he was like, the professional thing is not to run over. And I'm not saying run over. I'm saying that once we're ready to go, we'll just play and we'll fill the time because we have enough songs.
Yeah.
We've been gigging for couple years now. So we could fill it, and we filled like a 45-minute set instead. If they had to do 45, they probably would have just played the same songs again, I think. So, I don't know.
But so
it felt like that. It felt like they were trying to drag it
so
out.
maybe devil's advocate. But what I'm saying is that like way too much talking is just not a good thing.
Yeah,
it's not. I don't think it's a good thing at any stage. Arguably, you can get away with it when you're huge. Arguably, when you're
even then,
and this is what I mean. That's why I said arguably.
Yeah.
Arguably, if you're Bono, you can sit there and talk, right? And for some reason, people will listen to you. But at this stage, you can't be spending 2 minutes talking about your inspirations to write the song because truthfully, no one cares.
Yeah.
Nobody cares about your inspiration to write your song.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like it's so absurd. But then the other thing he did, and I think we both caught onto it.
This is the
we
worst.
both literally looked at each other and just like shook our heads, and I think I audibly just like, what a douche. But he just mid-song, right? He just shouted. What did he shout? He shouted, "Can I get the keyboard turned up, please?" Or
no, can I get more keys in the monitor, please?
Yeah,
he said,
yeah,
and it was through. Obviously his live mic, right? We don't have multiple mics. We're playing a small festival. So it was through that's just in the middle of the song. He's like, "Do-do-do-do-do. Can I get more?" And he just shouted across the mic. But the problem is, like, the guy is on stage. They had a great setup, right? Yeah. Because sometimes it is the guy that's over there and it can be awkward. But what I said to you, I was like, anything that you need like that, you can turn to him, make eye contact with him, and then he'll pick up what you need.
Yeah.
So, for example, right, for people listening on Spotify, for the 4 or 5 people that aren't watching, I've just done a little air keyboard, and then I've pointed up. And that means keyboard up, right? Yeah. And then he'll go, okay, keyboard up in the monitors. But it was and I think the problem was it comes across as... Even the sound man, the monitor engineer, you know that he's getting that from this like 17-year-old child. And just speak, just like communicate normally.
Yeah, but because that's the thing as well. It came across just real sort of like demanding and pushy and like it was like he's above the sound engineer sort of thing. Yeah. But like you say, like if you need your vocals up, you point at your mic and you just go up.
Yeah.
That's fine. You don't have to say anything. You don't have to like ruin the song that you're playing as well just by like shouting, "Can I put the keys up?" Especially because that's the sort of thing that the crowd are oblivious to.
Yeah,
they're oblivious to. If there's no changes are made, their opinion of your song is not changed. That's essentially that's just to keep you happy.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. It's a monitor.
So it's like just get on with it.
That's the other thing as well. I don't know if there was a disconnect because, again, they were young. They had said they'd never played an outdoor festival before, so it was like a new setup to them. But there may have been a disconnect between... Yeah,
but there's no difference between outdoors and indoors in terms of, like...
No, there is, though. If they've just played gigs, they wouldn't have had a monitor engineer.
Yeah, I suppose.
But when we got up, we were introduced to, this is Dan, he's the monitor engineer. So... that I think maybe they had a disconnect there of the fact that the guy that is running your sound is here and the guy that's running everyone else's sound is out there. So you're not shouting to that dude.
Yeah.
Because that dude has sorted your piano and your piano sounds fine, right? And I think this is another problem is like not a pet peeve, but a bit of advice, is that you just have to trust the sound engineers. Your job is to play well. Their job is to make it sound good. What you hear on the stage is important too. So changing your monitor mix is very different. We've played a horrendous gig before when the monitors, we had nothing through monitors. It was just absolute noise. So what we were playing, we were just blind. Like, we were playing our songs, and if it sounded bad, if something was without a tune,
couldn't hear vocals.
The singing was just guessing. So that's very different. But even then, people overcomplicate it. Really, for a good gig, you need to hear your vocals. And, you know, I think the rhythm section will have a kick drum or a bit of bass or whatever. But yeah, I think that can be the issue, is that if you put everything through your monitors, then it's a lot harder to hear what you need to hear. Whereas if we play a gig and we can't hear the guitars, but when we're singing we can hear each other, it'll probably be fine.
Yeah.
Anyway, that was.
Well, that's
that. Dive.
That's a little.
But it was fun,
that was
fun,
a little additional pet peeve.
It was good to be back, wasn't it? Because we've been pretty.
So that's kind of our first
year.
gig of the year, really. Yeah.
Definitely is.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Apart from I've played some free shows acoustically in care centres, but they've not really been the same. They've not been big gigs with my boys.
It was good to be back. It's been a while since the band have all played. I mean, obviously we've done a couple of rehearsals here and there.
We've had a lot. We've had a lot of rehearsals.
Yeah.
We've rehearsed more than other bands that probably have.
But I think it's different, isn't it? Like, you can't really recreate. You can rehearse all you want, but getting up there and actually doing a gig.
Yeah, I think it showed me. Yesterday showed me how ready we are for it. Like, you need to be at a point where you can turn up, you can play your set. If things go wrong, which one thing went wrong, we had a situation where no one ended the final song of our set.
Oh, that was your fault.
No, it wasn't my fault. It was Arash's fault, because we ended the song and he kept drumming. So then I was like, what are we going to do? And then he was like, chorus. So I've had the communication from Arash where he's gone, let's go to the chorus. And I went into the chorus, but obviously you and Sarah was still doing the other bit. So it was just a bit of a mess. But no one would have noticed in the crowd. They would have been like, oh, cool, they broke down a little bit. And then they came back together. But yeah, there's some music news.
Music news.
Is there music news? There's not really.
So
you've got updates.
There was an update.
Addendums.
Yep.
Is that the word?
Yeah. You're making an addendum to a document.
We're making an addendum to the story we told.
Exactly.
No, I guess there's just extra parts to it, right?
Yeah, because we're not
Royal Blood
changing it.
Let's go. So we obviously.
So they went on to I don't know what
BBC.
radio station, BBC radio station, BBC One.
The only station.
Oh no, it's like a bunch.
Oh
though,
yeah,
isn't there? It's like
it was BBC
Radio One. I don't know.
Radio One, let's say.
Yeah.
Might have been.
And came out and spoke after the backlash that they received for being pathetic.
Yeah.
And they kind of gave an apology. It kind of was an apology, but it also wasn't. It also wasn't an apology, and it made me hate them more.
Yeah.
It made me hate them even more, and it kind of goes back to this thing. I truly believe you should, unless you've done something apparently bad, like abhorrently. Abhorrently bad.
If you've done something really bad.
Yeah, if you've actually done something so bad, like
don't say it. YouTube.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, you've done one of the ism words or something, right?
Right, yeah.
Then, you've probably come out and apologise, right? Because you've done something bad.
Yeah.
Right? But if you've just been a bit douchey, right? I feel like just accept the backlash and get on with it. Because what they did was worse.
Do you know what so essentially, if people haven't seen it, because I don't think many people would have, but it came up.
It's a BBC.
Who listens to BBC now? It came up that they went on and basically, and correct me if I'm wrong, because I heard it last week and I was like, I remember this, and I probably haven't remembered it properly. But basically, they were like, we thought we were just being a bit funny. They were just being a bit like, obviously their situation, I think they got swapped in late. So they were just trying to be tongue-in-cheek and just be like, oh, there's only 4 people clapping. Oh, no one knows who we are. Let me introduce... And I think were just trying to be funny.
Yeah, but
they
said...
that was what the intention was.
Yeah, but I think they were a bit like... they were kind of like sending out 2 different messages. Because one, they apologised, right? But then they also said, it was just a joke.
No, yeah, and I think...
And I'm like, well, it can't be both. You can't be sat there saying, we understand. We should have taken it as an opportunity to sort of play in front of an audience that don't know us.
Yeah.
But that's the thing. That's my point. Is they said that, Which I said that makes sense. Like if they've been booked in short notice, they weren't supposed to play there. They've also been wedged between two acts that are not good for them at all.
It's a tough
like
gig.
What were they? But they were in between Niall and Lewis Capaldi.
And here's the thing: people that are there to see Niall are almost certainly then
100%.
So your whole fan base, you're in that sandwich.
Yeah. So you've then got an audience who like none of them have come to see Royal Blood.
Yeah.
Right. So I get it. But then when they've come out and they've said, yeah, we should have looked at it as an opportunity to have a really cool gig with people that haven't listened to our music, that says to me that they didn't do it on purpose.
Here's the thing, right? And I think there was a key part here, is he was trying to be funny. And the issue is, to be funny, like you can say things you don't mean to be funny. He was trying to be funny. He wasn't. And I think everyone can agree, right? We can all get together and just be like, subjectively, he wasn't funny. No. He was just being a little brat, right? And then what I found funny about on the radio interview they did was that they were like, well, we got off stage and we didn't realise anything was wrong. Like we got off stage and we were like, okay, yeah, that was fun. That was a cool show. And then, but this huge wave of backlash of people being like, these guys are pricks. So they didn't even realise. And then I think they were backstage and someone's come out and been like, yeah, I don't think people liked that, because ultimately people don't like it if you just shit on them for coming out and listening to your music. So it was a misjudgment, but then the interview afterwards was very like...
It didn't come across well.
Yeah, it didn't. And I think there were a few things in the interview that were kind of like them on stage, where it's like, it's not hit, it's not landed what you wanted to land. If they came out and were like, look, we were trying to be funny. We weren't like hating on the people at all. We were just trying to be funny, but that wasn't even really what the apology was. So I don't know. What I'd say is, when we were saying this, we accidentally last week we said Royal Republic instead of Royal Blood once, and then we corrected ourselves. Put Royal Republic in that spot, right? And most people won't know them. If you have listened to every episode of the podcast, I've mentioned them a couple of times. They have, I would say, the best.
They probably would have had a good time.
The best band performance. The best, like, you've got Coldplay and you've got people like that can put on these big theatrical performances. But when you're a band and you're stuck behind a microphone, you're pretty limited. They put on one of the best shows. So if you're a band and you want to see what that looks like, check them out.
Just from like an energy point of view.
Yeah.
They're like high energy.
Fun.
Yeah.
They just enjoy it, and then everyone else enjoys it, and they rock and they play great music. If they went out, they would have crushed that show.
Yeah, yeah.
And everyone would have been like, shit, okay, they may not be the genre I like, but these guys are cool because they're enjoying it, they're having fun, they're getting people involved.
Instead of going, those guys are douchebags.
Yeah, it's so brutal. And it's so funny because I've known bands and I've liked bands and I've supported bands that I've realised are full of themselves, are the most arrogant, egotistical people. And then I really struggle. Like, I really struggle to listen to their music when I know that they're these, like, There was a band that I went to see when they were, like, up and coming. And it was at the Joiners in Southampton. Yeah. Tiny venue, right?
Famous venue.
It's a huge in stature, but it's about 150 people, I think it's capacity.
Proper grimy... slimy.
The posters on the wall.
Great. It's great. When I say grimy and slimy, I'm not.
They're good.
Not as a negative. It's good. It's filthy.
And I went to see them, and I haven't named the band, have I?
No.
Cool. Let's do that. Let's not name the band. Right. They turn up in like a little Mercedes Sprinter, and there's a queue of people waiting because it's like they're this up and coming band, very exciting, and then they just sat in the van, right, for like an hour and a half. Big yawn. I'm not even going to cut away from you. Fuck you. And they sat in the van. They didn't come out to say hello to anyone. There's like some people had like signs and stuff like that. And then they came out to sound check and like didn't speak to anyone. They went straight in. And then they went back into the van after their sound check. And I was just, for myself, I was like, this is weird.
God, I'm really curious as to who this is now.
And then after the show, they then had like a merch table. So you could go see them at the merch table. And then everyone went to do that. And, like, the lead singer, I think, had a girlfriend there. So he was just talking to his girlfriend, and he would sign something and just pass it back.
Oh, my God.
One of them was on the phone Like he was just on the phone the whole time as well, just on the phone. And then I think one of them who was like, there was, I mean, they're not really that big now. Is the problem? So I don't want to name them, but one of them who's like an interesting member of the group, plays a bit of a different instrument, things like that. He was there for like 2 or 3 minutes, and then he left. And like I was like, I don't understand where he's gone. Do you know what I mean? Like they're not from here. They've just been in that. So from that day, I was like, oh, I'm not going to support these anymore. And it was funny because they did that tour, and then they stagnated, and they didn't get any bigger. And a part of me was like, it's probably because you didn't give a fuck about the fans that were coming out to see you. You didn't care about the people that were excited about your music.
Yeah.
And then they just died. Like I don't know if they still make music. I don't know if they're still together. But yeah, it was brutal. The album they released, the first album, was insane. It was really, really good. But they just were the douchiest people I've ever met.
Yeah,
Imagine standing behind people are like, I'm gonna buy your album, and then I'm gonna ask you to sign your album, and you're just on the phone or you're just speaking to your girlfriend. And I was just like, this is crazy.
It is mental, and it's like you don't have to do much. You don't have to fucking have a 5-minute conversation with everyone.
No.
But at least give him some attention.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Give him some of your attention. Yeah, look at them. And maybe not have your phone out and stuff. There's a big thing going through at the moment in the Premier League because there are a couple of teams have been caught out with that sort of stuff. But it was like the Arsenal team, I think, a few weeks ago. Or it might be in a bit longer. But the team, do you know when like the team arrive, right? And there was a little girl waiting with a little like Arsenal jersey or whatever.
Yeah.
And some of the players like stopped to sign it, but none of them looked at her.
Really?
None of them even looked at her or spoke to her whatsoever. They all just like signed and left. And some of them didn't even stop and sign. Some of them just walked past her. And I think there were only like 2 Arsenal players that actually sort of like acknowledged her and like spoke to her and like thumbs up or whatever. And it went viral, it went massive. Like people were like, this is outrageous. Yeah. Like if this was like 10 years ago, most football clubs, that would not happen. Like every player would stop and speak. And if they didn't, they'd get bollocked by the manager and being like, we're not asking you to spend 5 minutes with her, but at least a look and a smile, because those people are like looking up to you. And it's the same sort of thing. It's just like, just give your fans some attention. It's so stupid. We're all human beings. We're all on the same goddamn level. It's just some of us have advanced in a weird social sort of circumstance where we're somehow like, well, not we're, but some people are somehow for some reason put above other people. Yeah. Right. The absolute least you can do if you're in that situation is fucking be self-aware of the situation and realize that we're all just people.
Here's the thing, and right, you're talking about that elevation, right, that next level, and they're clearly on that because they're not even looking this girl in the eye. But why are they on that? It's because of the money, the stature that she's given them. Yeah. Right? Maybe not her out of her back pocket, but she's there holding a T-shirt, right, that would have cost 50, 60 quid, right? Yeah. Rip off. She's going to games, she's going to matches. Those are the people that are doing it, like just in a huge number. Yeah. So there's millions of people that are watching these games, and that makes you on that level. Yeah. Ultimately, he'll still wipe his ass, right? You know what I mean? He'll still throw up if he has too many beers. Like, he's still a human, but he's just a regular human person. I think that's the disconnect. I've seen, there's 2 examples I was going to give of the flip side. One is it Declan Rice plays for West Ham? Yes. I'll apologise to any football fans. The ball knowledge is bad.
Declan Rice plays for West Ham. He's about to move to potentially Arsenal.
Okay. Bully for him. I saw a good video of him, and there was a kid who was like, Declan, and wanted a signature or whatever. And then Declan comes over, and this lad starts crying. And then Declan Rice like, what, like, don't cry, it's absolutely fine. And he like gives him a hug. He gives him such a great human interaction. Like, it's the complete flip side of, and I have seen the video you're on about where they'll get off the bus and there'll be people like, please, you're on the phone, look up to you, and they would just walk.
Yeah, it's
because then that kid is like, it's brutal. You know what would be really cool? I'll just ignore people. Like, I'll just like not care. It's brutal,
and it's like, because there's people that have argued on the flip side, right, with like athletes, and be like, well, in fairness, they're in the zone. It's like before a game, and they're walking up, they're in the zone, and I'm like, I don't give a shit, right? They're not in the zone. Maybe some of them are, right? But here's the thing. This was like a Premier League game, and I think at this stage Arsenal had already bottle jobbed the title, right?
Yeah.
So it's like whatever. But also, this is like an hour and a half, 2 hours before the game.
Yeah.
Don't give me that I'm in the zone bullshit.
Yeah.
Like if it was the Champions League final, right? I'll let you off, right? In that case,
Even then.
no, but this is the thing. In that case, right? Don't allow members of the public to be there when the players come off.
Yeah.
Because you're like, they're in the zone, Champions League final. This is just one of those scenarios where we're not going to let fans in there, right? But apart from that, I don't care. You're in the zone. What are you talking about? 2 hours before? 2 hours before?
Yeah. They've not even had the meal. They've not even had their pre-game dinner.
They're still going to have to do press and stuff, right? So don't get me in the zone.
What, getting out the bus and going into the hotel?
Yeah.
Fuck off.
Yeah. No, it's absolute trash.
No,
and I'm like, just fucking stop and fucking sign an autograph, you prick.
Tuffle some hair. Ruffle some hair? What do you do to hair?
You rustle it.
Do you?
Will you toughen it?
No, Russell's like anyway. Stroke there.
I don't think stroke it. You can't stroke. You can't stroke like a little girls today. You can't stroke her hair, dude. That's
no. Yeah, I don't think it's accurate to say they're in the zone. They're not. They're gonna go. They're gonna play Flappy Bird on their phone for half an hour, right? And then they're gonna get dressed. It's like they're not in the zone.
Yeah,
what are they focusing on how to tie their fucking
met most
laces?
footballers? Yeah.
And then it goes through the hoop.
Excuse me, don't speak to the players. They're trying to tie their shoelaces.
They're trying to remember how it works. They really struggle with which is the left boot and the right boot.
It's crazy. It's crazy.
It's funny because I have got back into football, and I think for a decade, my personality was the person that's like, I do not watch football, and I'm back. Apart from I'm not, because I just follow League One and Charlton. So
I'm back. I
know you are.
I'm in it.
I watched a bit of the Champions League.
I'm keeping up with all the transfer talks. I'm keeping up with I watch Talk Sport on YouTube a lot now.
I would throw this out, right? The Champions League final happened last night.
Yeah.
Cool. I don't care, and I would have cared more about the semi-final of the Carabao Cup if Charlton were playing Brighton under 21.
For sure. I mean, same. So as a Charlton fan,
I think that I just have a disconnect to that top level.
But what I was going to say regarding the Champions League final, right? It's the first Champions League final I've watched in a long time, right?
Mm-hmm.
Since getting back into football, because I had I don't know, maybe a 6-year hiatus of football, where I haven't really watched football. I don't know how long they've been doing this, but what is with that pre-game? I don't know if you saw any of it.
Oh, I don't think I did.
They do a pre-kickoff, sort of like American-style halftime show.
What?
What was dreadful.
Did it have music and?
Yeah, it was like a DJ, and it was pumping up, and they had dancers everywhere and fire shooting off everywhere. Oh, it was dreadful. I can't remember ever seeing that. I don't know how long that's been going on for.
I don't know.
But I mean, I think the last Champions League final I watched was maybe 2011, 2010 or something like that.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure they just had the box standard ceremony. They had the Champions League flag out in the middle where they're waving it. They have the Champions League music building up, and it's great. It's great. You're sat there as a fan going, yeah, Champions League. Yeah. Now it's what is this? What? It's oh my god! And I feel like every time they pan to someone in the audience, this.
We've said it before, right? We've said it before. Don't ask me to care about.
I feel like for every single sports fan, right? If you're there to actually watch the final, the Super Bowl, the Champions League final, the World Cup final, or whatever, right? Before the game, right? You're pretty much at full mast, right?
Yeah.
In terms of excitement, you're at full mast.
Right, yeah, in terms of excitement. Okay, yeah. That's a penal thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay.
But I didn't want to say...
The ship is sailing.
I didn't want to say...
Erection.
I didn't want to say my knob is as hard as rocks, right? Because YouTube might not like it. So
instead of shocking, it's knob. That's
so
knob policy.
You're at full mast, right, in terms of excitement.
Yeah, your boat is about
because you're a sports fan. That's what you're there for. You've been building up to this moment for the last week.
Yeah.
Right. And then they bring out I think it was a Dua Lipa tribute. right?
Not Julie,
DJ
but, okay.
playing music, right? Trying to pump the crowd up.
Yeah.
But as a sports fan, I'm already at full mast, right? I'm now listening to like 5 minutes of this DJ. I'm floppy as anything, dude.
Yeah.
I'm floppy as
It's
anything.
really bad.
I'm completely out of it.
And I think a part of it as well, because they're like, oh yeah, it's such a big event. Like, it is a big event on the pitch. It's a big event, but the beauty of it is what, like, we'll do it. We'll do everything else.
Yeah.
You don't need to hire Ed Sheeran. You don't need red arrows to fly.
No,
across.
it's the beauty
We'll
of sport.
do it,
It's the
'cause
beauty
we'll
of
go to a
sport.
pub and we'll sit and have drinks and we'll talk about what we think is going to happen, and then we'll march down in like the players through the tunnel, right? And we'll go in and we'll take our seats and the game will start and be beautiful. We don't need anything else. Maybe the red bobbin comes bobbin as the players come out the tunnel.
But that's the thing. Just leave it with how it's
Yeah.
like the Champions League, right?
I know.
Pre sort of thing was perfect before. It was a slow build up to the game. You had the massive Champions League flag in the middle,
I know.
shaking.
Yeah.
It was great. There's
Yeah.
nothing wrong
Yeah.
with it. Save the, I don't know, 5 million probably that they spent on that ceremony,
Yeah.
and just spend it on something else.
Do you know Devil's Avocado? I'll throw a Devil's Avocado out. It's one of the biggest sporting events there is, right? Champions League is the pinnacle of domestic football.
Yeah.
That's not the right word, is it? Because domestic, club level football.
National?
Yeah, but then the national team is England.
Well, no, all I'm saying for
Anyway,
any Americans
it's not
listening,
an
right?
international
The Champions
fixture.
League final is significantly bigger than the Super Bowl.
This is the point, right? But Americans go, Super Bowl's the big, right?
Mate,
But
cricket
it's not.
is bigger than the Super Bowl.
It's not, and this is the problem. So,
And that is
Americans like it,
most
but-
countries' like third sport.
But yeah, like the loser. gets to play that. But my point is, they'll say it's the biggest sport in the world, and then you look at the viewing figures, and it's not at all. So like the Champions League, the World Cup blows it out of the water because the whole world.
It's not
watches,
even
just
comparable.
America.
It's not
But
even comparable.
The point is that the pressure? Is the pressure being like, oh well, this is the biggest sporting event in the world, so that they're getting black-eyed peas. Maybe that, but I would argue just let the football happen.
It just
And we're
just
not
get
trying.
rid
We
of
don't
it.
need to bring new people in. It's the biggest sport in the world. We don't need.
No,
to bring
the
new
World
fans
Cup
in.
final, I think, is watched by, I want to say, like 3.5 billion people on average, which is like half the planet.
Yeah, the other half is just making the world keep going.
That's half of the planet.
Yeah,
Bearing in mind, almost none of those people are Americans,
yeah.
right? So that's half the planet. I think the Super Bowl gets, I think it's like something like 100 million or something, which is big. It's like a third of, it's like one.
It's like
one out of every
the-
three
like the
Americans or something.
EastEnders final. Yeah. Anyway, let's move off of sports. Too much sport. I was going to say Charlton. I think Charlton Purchase has just gone through as well.
Oh, what?
You know how-
I haven't been following it.
You watched Sunderland Till I Die, right? So
Yeah,
there was a
yeah,
Netflix
yeah.
show that showed Sunderland team. They got bought by this group, and it was led by Charlie Mevden.
Right.
Mevden.
Wasn't
whatever
he
his
the
name is.
Leeds dude?
He's a douche, right? He just came across as the biggest douchebag on the show. He's the one that's like, he actually speaking of the pre-game, Sunderland had like a classical musical piece that's always been played, and he came and was like, well, when I DJ in Ibiza, I like to build it up.
I remember that. Yeah.
And so what we'll do is we'll get some electro, we'll build it up, and like even there's this kid in like the media department. He's like, this. I'm just gonna say it's not gonna go down well. He's like, the fans won't like it, and also the sound system is terrible, so it's gonna sound awful. So he stood up to it, but he was like the biggest douchebag ever. He spoke to people like absolute shit. Absolute shit. It was such a like, I don't know. It's how you get successful, right? You just treat people like crap.
Yeah.
But it didn't work either. Like I think ultimately Sunderland fans are like, that was bad.
Well, but they're not in the Premiership.
They're
yet,
not. It didn't
so,
work.
yeah.
It didn't work. But I think he's leading the consortium that are about to take over Charlton. And they had. And
Oh, that he's going to get rid of Red Robin.
he might, yeah. Or it'd be like, when the... We'd be like, okay, cool. No, we riot. If they get rid of that,
We ride at dawn.
Yeah. That'll be the quickest. It'll be the first game. We're like, yeah, we'll give them a chance, and then they'll be like, beep, 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 and we're like, oh, okay, done.
He'll get rid of Fish.
Nah, you can't get rid of Fish. Although I don't think Fish happened last time we were there, did it?
Yeah. Fish still happens.
Oh yeah, Fish did happen, but why?
I think they just. I
They just
think
have an
it's.
advert that's a fish.
I don't think that company even exists anymore.
Yeah, they
right.
went bust.
But it's so embedded in Charlton culture.
Yeah.
They're like, well, we're just going to play the same advert anyway.
I saw this is such a tangent. I saw a different fan base saying that Charlton stole that, and they were like, "Oh, we actually started doing that because of this advert." And I was like, "Motherfucker, we had a player called Mark Fish.
Yeah,
it was because of him."
Yeah, we used to say "Fish"
Good
before
Mark
that advert,
Fish.
and then that advert came along.
Anyway,
so wow.
Anyway,
we need
go
to stop.
back
This
to
is
the point.
mental.
To go back to the point,
Right.
Charlton, they had put a bid in, and they've made a company called SE7 Partners, right? Because an individual can't buy a team; it has to be for a company. And they made it, and then the bid happened, and it got accepted, and then it fell through. They've made a new bid now, and I think it's going through, and I think Charlie Mevden's a part of it. Anyway, that's that. No one else cares, so we'll move on. Shall we listen to some music? Oh, a quick bit of music, not really music news, but I found it interesting.
What's that?
Have you seen Lizzo? Oh, big fan.
Mascot.
She has
Big
come out
fan.
and said that because of all of the hate and all of the stuff that gets said against her, she's contemplating quitting music. My only takeaway from it was I didn't know that Lizzo listened to the podcast. So, hang in there.
I thought you were like, I didn't know she made music.
Yeah, well, no. I just found it funny. I was like, oh, maybe she has tuned. I mean, she's one of the 1,000 people who's listened to that episode, and she's gone, I might call this quits.
I would.
No one hates you 'cause
I
you're fat.
I
People
think
hate
someone.
you 'cause you're,
I think sometimes you need to look inwards.
yeah,
Look inwards.
take a big look.
Take a
inside
big
yourself.
look inwards, right, and be like, maybe I'm the problem.
Here's the problem though, and it's what I'm saying. No one hates.
Because you go for it.
Right. Here's the problem. No one hates Lizzo because she's fat.
Yeah.
People hate Lizzo because she's delusional,
Mm-hmm.
and she's encouraging a wave of people to be obese.
Yeah.
That's the problem. And people go, yeah, well, you try and dance and play flute and blah, blah. I'm like, that's not the point. The point is there are going to be young girls and boys that need to know that actually being in shape and healthy is probably the better option.
Yeah.
Right? That's what we know
And
as a
I'm
society.
gonna go back to Adele, right?
Go
Can
back to her.
you remember when Adele used to be overweight, right?
A bit, yeah. Bigger girl.
And she was massive. I mean
By stature.
yeah, stature, like her place in the music halls of legends.
Yeah.
Right. I can't remember her. I mean, obviously she would have, right? But I can't remember her getting like a wave of hate.
People didn't
for
hate
being
her.
overweight,
No.
right? That rhymed.
No, good.
It wasn't a problem. People just loved Adele. People were like, she makes amazing music. She's an amazing singer, right?
Yeah.
Not a problem. And weirdly, when she lost weight, she then started getting attacked by the people that are probably defending Lizzo.
And this is the problem. And I was going to say Meghan Trainor's another one, right? All about the bass. She was a curvy girl. I really, I'm not a big fan of her music, but she comes across very well. She's very lovable.
Yeah,
when
and
you
I
see
also,
her.
again, I never saw this
She got-
wave of hate because she was overweight.
She got the hate when she lost the weight.
Yeah.
That was how it was. And I guess a part of it was that a lot of her songs were like body positivity songs. So maybe people were then upset. But it's like, you can be positive about yourself, right? Lizzo doesn't need to like hate herself.
No.
She can be happy in her body. But it's the extreme of, I'm the beauty standard. I'm what's sexy and hot. And people need to aspire to be like me. That's wrong. That's where a disconnect happens. And that's why she gets the hate. Because there are people that don't want their kids to grow up and be 500 pounds and die at the age of 35.
Well, and what
That's
I
the
will
issue.
say, right, as a caveat to that, I will say that also, right, the kind of models that you used to see as standard from both male and female, right, big, muscular, well-built, huge men, and like tiny, skinny women that are just like immaculate,
Yeah.
are also not the standard beauty standard.
What's funny though is we've now, the Sports Illustrated model is now a curvy chick.
Yeah.
Right? That's now because there was a big wave to be like, let's not make it like, we don't need people being bulimic. We don't need people eating half a grape and some seeds a day, right? Like that would, and I agree, that wasn't good, right? So it's now like, let's get real looking women, still attractive women, because you're trying to sell people through appearance, right? So
Yeah,
the
yeah,
only
yeah.
the only criteria there is, are they attractive? Yes, right? If they're plus size model and they're attractive, tick. If they're skinny, tick. But now it's like it's mandatory. If you're a skinny model, sorry, you're too late. You missed your stop. But
you're born too
on
late.
the flip side, look at any advert for a male product. Look at a aftershave advert. Look at men's
they're all
health.
ridiculously
They're
chiseled.
Ripped. Right?
and
I don't know. There's a bit of a disconnect.
Well, here's the thing, right? My view is always I don't really have a problem with it, right? Because that everyone can achieve that. Anyone can achieve that level of fitness, right? I don't think it should be kind of like drummed in as like the standard. That's what you should look like.
Yeah.
Because I don't think everyone should look like the dude who's riding a horse who's like selling the aftershave.
The Old Spice guy.
Old Spice guy.
He's
right?
cool.
Yeah,
I'd look like
phenomenal.
him if I could.
He's a sexy bitch.
Yeah.
Right? But not everyone has to achieve that level of peak fitness. However, I don't have a problem with it being used
It's
to
nice
sell.
to look at.
Because it's nice. Even I'm like,
No one
man,
wants to see me
he's a
topless.
sexy bitch.
Do you know what I
man.
mean?
Yeah.
Like, if I come on the screen and I'm like, "Hi, I'm gonna sell you this gym membership,"
But I
people are
think
like, it's not working.
But I think the overriding point is though is that exists for both sexes. Both men and
there's
women
unrealistic beauty
have
standards.
the pressure to live up to unrealistic beauty standards.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah.
And here's the thing, everyone can achieve those beauty standards, but not really. Do you know what I mean? Because not really. Because to achieve, I think Glenn McElhenney. Glenn McElhenney?
No, you've combined people.
Rob McElhenney, right? We're big fans of It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
Yep.
And he did a season where he got fat, right, on purpose for the show.
Yeah.
Right? Hilarious. He also did a series where he got absolutely ripped. And I mean like bodybuilder sort of like model superhero ripped. And he was saying about how like to achieve that is the most miserable experience you can go through.
Yeah.
Because it took him like 12 months, right, of hardcore working out and then 7 months of eating like a prisoner, like a PO war.
It wasn't even that. Like, I remember the post he put out was like, it was his typical humor, tongue-in-cheek. He's like, look, I did it to show people that it's easy. All you have to do is have a Hollywood film team buy you a personal trainer who will wake you up 7 days a week at 4 a.m. You'll eat 5,000 calories exactly. You'll work out 6 times a day. Like, and he did it as a like, the reason why I've done this is because I have the tools behind me to do this. He wouldn't be able to. And even since then, that has now fluctuated, but he's now in good shape. He looks great. But my point, what I've just done there is I was on a tight of me and you sneezed and I went to the wide just to catch the sneeze. I don't know why. I was instinctive. I knew I should change the camera. Anyway, he looks great, but he's now a realistic shape. Let that man sell things to me and I'm like, cool. I could look like that if I work out a bit, I diet, I lose some weight, right? And that's fine because that's pushing me towards healthiness. But the other extreme is that, like in Marvel films, the actors that play superheroes that come out and they have the veins and you can see the six-pack, they're like dehydrated. So most of the time, and there's loads of stories of people, like all of your favorite Marvel superheroes passing out on the set because they're not drinking water and they're not eating because they need to starve themselves just to get that extra 1%.
Well, I know.
That's my problem is when it's unhealthy.
Yeah.
But what is also unhealthy is Lizzo, right?
Yeah,
and everyone says, no, she's perfect and beautiful. I would hedge my bet that her cardiologist doesn't agree. Do you know what I mean? I reckon he's not going, no, you're all good. So that's the problem. Lizzo, keep making great music, right? But when it comes to saying beauty standards and what people should strive to look like, shut the fuck up. Just play the flute.
You're gonna have to beep some.
I can't beep. I'm not hot. I don't know,
We're gonna have to beep.
I think we double down.
No, we're gonna have to beep.
What? Have YouTube got a fatty policy? Oh,
we're gonna have to stop it. We're like,
it's bullying.
Lizzo's like,
Lizzo's
protected,
and then we'll say beautiful. Anyway, that's enough about that glorious creature.
Let's listen to some tunes.
Yeah, that's a good idea. 44 minutes in, let's bash some tunes out and end the podcast because I'm so hot. Also, we've broken I think we've said our recording schedule for this before, which is we record on a Saturday morning, release on Sunday. It is Sunday morning because we had a gig and I left a bunch of stuff that we needed to record it. So everything fell apart. We're going to listen to... So basically, this is going to be not rushed, but if we can end this at an hour, that would be good.
Yeah.
So let's flash through
Well, let's get on with it.
So let's get the good stuff going. We are listening to Antstat. Antstat from New Jersey.
Oh, I was going to guess where they were from.
Where do you think they're from?
New Jersey. Antstat, I thought it sounded like Scandinavian.
Yeah, or like... I don't know if it's because it's like Amsterdam. I was going to say like Holland.
Maybe.
They're Deutsch. Right, no, they're from New Jersey. Any guesses for genre?
Antstat. Interesting.
I don't know if they're a band or a one person.
I'm going to go with kind of a bit of a poppy rock band.
I don't know what to do here. Antstat. I'm going to go like heavier. I'm going to go, this is going to be a heavier track. Every time I guess that, though, it never is. This is Antstat with the song Hoping to Find Myself. They've timestamped 30 seconds, and we're going to listen to 30 seconds. So this is Antstat.
Lost in your hometown, TV's always on now, playing the same shows that they did when you were home. But they look different now. Now you get the jokes. You were always smart enough to keep me alone. So I stared into my...
Cool. I went a little bit over there. That's an interesting sound, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's really interesting.
I kind of want to listen to more, see where it goes.
Do you know what?
Because I feel like if it goes somewhere where I think it goes, I think it's fine.
Where do you think it goes?
Like a bit.
Oh,
I
that's
think
my OBS.
at some point it goes a bit more heavy. It gets a bit more.
I liked the
sort of sound
breakdown.
to
The
it.
dropout of everything was really good. My only constructive criticism, which I do have with this, is to hone in on the vocals.
Yeah.
And they were very... Here's the problem. They felt unnecessarily strained. And I think it's a stylistic choice, right, to have that. But the problem was that it felt like they had pushed it to a point where it was uncomfortable.
I would
And
say
you could hear the uncomfort in the pitch control.
Well, say I was going to say, because what I was alluding to was that, but I was hoping it was going to get bigger because I think there was a slight disconnect between the vocals and
Such an idiot. Sorry. Yeah.
and the rest of the song.
I just cut to your Looney
And
Tunes
even
camera, sorry.
even to the point where like there was a breakdown, right? And where kind of everything got a little bit more quiet, and I felt like even if it was just that voice like got a bit softer, then
Yeah.
it would have been fine.
Yeah.
But because it continued at the same level, it kind of sounded a bit off.
And yeah, no, I agree. Yeah, 100%. All of the instruments dropped down. It was really nice, but the vocals stayed at 100.
Yeah.
But I felt like the vocals were not at 100%, but at 104%. And I don't mean that as like not as a positive, but it felt like it had strained to the point where, because they want that, like, it's kind of singing right on your top of your range, which if I write a song and I put it at the top of my range, it's because I can belt it out, and that's good. But if you do that for a whole song, you then start losing pitch control. You then start losing kind of like when you record, you want it to be really exact.
Yeah.
You'll play a part and you'll sing a part, and you want it to be 100% correct. So it's like, it was a really great sound.
I was gonna say, I don't want it to sound like we're being super negative, because
the production was good as well.
That was like a production note or a small criticism on what I thought was a good song.
Yeah,
like I
I
felt
personally,
like it was good.
I would have been going, can it be like a tone lower to just bring it into a more comfortable range, and then having that drop down, as you say, in dynamics for that vocal, so it's not, instead of being here, you can drop down and then be like, have a bit more control and a bit. Because the other point is, right, we just played a 45-minute show. If you book like 5 gigs, you're gonna blow your voice out immediately.
Yeah, for
so
sure.
you need it to be somewhere you can control it. But apart from that, it sounded really good. It was just the person watching this, maybe his name's Ant. I think his name's Antstat. So Antstat is his musical persona, maybe. It's easy. It would be easy to listen to any constructive feedback and feel negative about it. I think it's just if you can take that on board, you would probably hit another level.
Yeah,
because the instrumental part that is produced is perfect. And if he goes back a few episodes, any episode, I always talk about dynamic variation and making your song interesting. Does it keep being engaging? And it definitely does. So yeah, really interesting submission. And I'm saying that you're straining the vocals too much. Like there are parts that sounded really good, but I think to go to that level, do it every now and again. Do it in a chorus or do it as the peak instead of it being the whole way through.
Yeah.
Thanks for the submission. Our next one is Albi Jack. Do you want to guess where from?
Albi Jack.
I guess that's the new thing. Albi Jack.
Sacramento.
Where is Sacramento?
It's in America.
No, I know it's in America.
Oh, I don't know where though.
Isn't it a state? Wait, isn't it
That's
Chicago,
just,
Illinois? No.
maybe, yeah.
Sacramento, Illinois. California. Anyway, no, it's not. It's Victoria, British Columbia. It's Canada.
Canada.
I've not put a timestamp, so I've just clicked off of everything. It's all going wrong. Do I check that I have a timestamp? Yeah, I probably do. I'm just gonna have a little look because I don't want to play it from the start and then.
What are they called?
Albi Jack. I guess you can guess genre.
Albi
You
Jack.
can guess genre.
Albi Jack. Oh, I don't know. I'm just gonna go with like some sort of rap.
Pirate rock.
Pirate
Is
rock.
what I'm gonna guess. I don't know why. 128. I'm glad I checked that. So let's go to 128. Here we go. Albi Jack.
With you is easy, I just don't care. I don't give a shit. Is that why you wanna try me? Over and over I see your face. Are you lying again? I can't hear your lies. Believe me this time, I'm not kidding. Is it real? Listening.
I went a bit long because I
clean.
wanted another 10 seconds.
It was clean.
It's really good. I thought I almost had this. I didn't have the same feedback from the last band, but from a vocal standpoint, I almost was going to say that it felt like the dynamics needed to change with the chorus, but then they did, but they just did it a little bit later.
Yeah.
It was really good. I thought it was very Nirvana, Red Hot
Yeah,
Chili
kind of.
Peppers. Like Nirvana in the double-tracked vocals and like quite casual vocals. Instrumentally felt like a Red Hot Chili Peppers song from like right in the sweet spot. It really cool sound.
Yeah, I felt like the vocals were on point as well. Fits well.
Yeah.
Yeah, good.
And
That's
also,
great sound.
it's-
And it's like
it-
super clean as well.
Yeah, the recording is awesome, for sure. I don't know, they look like they didn't send social media. I just had their SoundCloud. I get my son calling me in the background. But yeah, it looks like they're big on recording and doing all of that stuff. Sounded great. Really liked it.
Yeah.
I had to listen as well. It's always interesting if you have a submission, you have to listen to a little bit more.
Yeah.
Because we hit the chorus, and I was like, I want to see where the vocals
Well, because I
go.
felt like it was about to cut off at the wrong point.
Yeah, because it was like, here we are, get
yeah.
off. Maybe I've just ruined. They were like, let's do that, and then people will come to our SoundCloud and listen to it. But no, it's really cool. There was one other part that I found really interesting as well. They had double track vocals, right? So you record 2 vocal takes and you put them in separate ears so you can hear the separation. And usually you would sing perfectly the same, basically. And those tiny nuances mean that you can hear the difference and separate 2 things. But what they were doing was it would be the exact same, and then there'd be like little bits where they'd sing differently, but not in a out of control manner. It felt really intentional, and maybe it wasn't, and you just nailed it. But then when the chorus happened, and then they would stay the same and then split up further, it showed that there was really well thought out vocals in that.
Yeah.
In the way that they've recorded them, the way they've sung them, so it's really cool. Hold Me Back by Albi Jack, which
rhymes.
That's a delight to
It
say
rhymes.
as well. If you're going for the radio, let us know if you get that on Spotify, because we only had a SoundCloud link. So maybe off air, I may have a look and see if I can find that.
But we'll link below.
It will definitely be in the description because they've only linked that as well. But when I search Albi Jack, I don't think I find an artist profile. I do not. So, yeah, let us know. Should we spin a wheel? Spin a wheel, get the third one.
Spin the wheel, boo.
Good submissions so far, though. Very our genre.
Yeah. Yeah, on point.
Like both of them were kind of in the wheelhouse. Speaking of wheelhouses, spin the wheel. My finger wasn't in the shot. There it is. We've listened to them.
Have we?
Yeah. I'm like 89% sure we've listened to them.
We'll just spin again.
Let me have a little.
And if we haven't, we'll queue them up for next week.
You want me to do a provisional spin?
Yeah.
Let me. I'm just quickly looking, but my gut is telling me we have Myoto from Manchester. I don't know if we have now. Do you know what I'm going to do? They've sent a Spotify link, so what I can do is I can quickly open it, add it to the playlist, but I'm certain I've listened to these before.
Meanwhile, I'm just going to mention the Live Golf merger happened. It was a bit nuts, wasn't it?
That was crazy. I don't know if we have listened to these guys before. So if we haven't... What am I saying? I think we're going to listen to these guys.
Okay, well, let's do it.
Let us know in the comments below if we've listened to Myoto, man. Oh, and then I'm going on their link tree and I'm like, I don't know.
Oh, come on.
Man.
We can't be doing this.
I don't. Well, I was just having a look. Right, okay.
We've all got to spin. This is why I just said
listen.
spin the wheel.
Let's just listen again. This is Myoto. They're from Manchester.
Okay, cool.
Would you have guessed that?
No.
Okay, cool. Genre guess?
I don't know. Manchester's a weird one. I'm gonna say kind of a rock, like 90s rock.
They feel.
I don't know why. I'm
indie
falling
punk.
into the Oasis trap.
Indie punk. Yeah.
Manchester.
Yeah.
Oasis.
I'm going indie punk.
Do you reckon they're very happy or very sad this morning?
I think they are happy, but they would sing sad. Do you know what I mean?
I'm on about the fact that Man City have just won the Champions League.
Oh, I see. This is my disconnect.
That was obvious.
Maybe a couple of them.
Yeah.
What about that? What if they're
yeah.
blue and red? If Only You Knew by Myoto. Coming right up.
Thought I'd seen lightning in a loaded gun. Fought after violence till the colors run.
So I've gone along.
That was good, though.
It's really good. I might jump it a bit and just see where it goes.
Okay.
I'm jumping it.
And if only you knew.
That's cool.
Yeah, really,
That's
really good.
Sick. I really like it. It's. I don't know why. I've just opened up the credits. So there you go. Written by Andrew William McCoy and the rest of the band, I guess. It's really good. It's very. It's proper Britpop indie.
Yeah.
I felt like Keen.
Yeah.
A little bit of Keen in the vocals.
Yeah, I can hear that.
Because it was also. It was like. It was big, without trying to be big.
Yeah.
And maybe that was the better way of saying the first band submission was that they were trying to be big and not big.
Yeah.
This was like the sound was big, but effortlessly. The vocals were calm and reserved. It's a really cool sound. A little bit of indie.
Yeah, and I love the
indie
kind
pop
of
sound.
like,
I like it.
chimey sort of tones that they were getting with the lead guitar. It was good.
Yeah, it was very like trying to think of who that is. Like Two Door Cinema Club? I don't think it is.
Maybe almost kind of like U2 in a
U2 guitar.
in a way.
But in a good way.
Yeah, in a good way.
In a good way.
In a good way.
No, really cool sound. That's Myoto from Manchester. Yeah, it sounded really good. It's very like unique sound. As
Yeah.
well, whilst also sounding like vaguely familiar. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, but I mean, it's you can't help but compare
No.
like any music to other music, and it's always a compliment whenever you're like that sounds like Keane.
Yeah. Yeah.
We're
Like,
not
even
saying
if you don't
we're
like
not
Keane-
saying you've ripped off Keane. We're just saying that it sounds like it could be
Yeah.
a Keane song.
I don't think people would. I wouldn't be upset.
No,
If
no.
someone said that,
That's
I would love to write a song like Keane. Every time I try, it's crap. So if you can do it,
It's
then
just
it's good.
it's a really unique sort of genre. I find
Yeah,
Keane. 'Cause
that-
you don't know, I don't know where Keane
Can I
sits.
say that album is perfect for me?
It is good. It's a great album.
I think I can't remember. I ended up on a playlist and I listened to like Somewhere Only We Know. And I,
I
was
feel
I need
like
to check this
I
out
feel like
more.
Keane are just one of those bands that you just forget about.
Yeah.
Like everyone forgets about Keane. No one knows Keane, but then you hear Keane, and you're like,
It's so
oh,
good.
I can't remember. I forgot how good Keane were.
No, they're insanely good. No, I love it. Thank you for the submission, Myoto
Well, I say
in Manchester.
in Manchester.
So if you need a support band,
Oh,
although
yeah,
it would have to be a good gig because we've gone up that way before and the gig we did was crap. So there we go. Anyway, I've got nothing else. We spoke about
Everything.
the lizard.
You can't call him a lizard.
No, that would be someone else, wouldn't it? I
Yeah,
think.
yeah.
Guesses who in the comments below.
Someone in the royal
If
family.
you've got this far, hit subscribe. If you've already subscribed, hit it again.
hit unsubscribe.
yeah. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, thanks for listening. Was there anything? Do we need to make a clickbaity clip? How do you eat a banana? Do you know those guys? Do you know? No, I'm not going to throw shade at any other podcast, but
no, but I just feel like it's
there are podcasts. This is maybe why our growth is limited.
because we're not
Because
chasing it.
Yeah, before we go, we don't go. How are we going to make TikTok clips this episode?
Yeah.
Maybe
Yeah.
this is the TikTok clip. But there's people that I see, and a couple of them are really funny, and then 15, 20 moments happen. So every episode there's a moment that's like, oh my god, this amazing thing, or this crazy thing, or you say this weird.
Or like,
nah.
what? B. What way round? Right? Do you sit when you're using the toilet?
Yeah, exactly. Oh well, towards the basin, of course, and you're like,
Wrong.
Yeah. Flip it. Anyway, thanks for the submissions. There's a link below. We're not even close to the end of our submissions we have, but it'd be cool to get more.
Yeah.
So submit. If you comment on this video, you will be played next week. All of them. How about
Like
this?
18 people.
I'll commit every single person that comments below that submitted music with the link will play their music next week.
No one will comment.
No one will. But if 55 people comment, we will listen to 55.
The longest
bands.
episode ever, just us listening.
There'll be no talk. Thank you. Right. Ciao. Anything else?
Ciao.
Ciao.
Ciao. I needed